Right now, first at 6:30, guardrails. They are meant to protect drivers from going off-road or cushion them in a wreck. Well, they can reduce serious injuries up to 47% when they're installed correctly.
When they're not, experts say they do far more harm than good. Reporter Kristen Crowley explains the problem and why so little is being done about it.
For most parents, it's easy to talk about their kids.
Well, he was a good-looking kid. He was a pretty good athlete, and he was very smart.
But most parents haven't lost their child.
Just full of life.
Like Joey Beck did.
Why did it have to be him? I would rather it been me.
Seth Beck died in 2019 after crashing into a guardrail on a stretch of highway in Missouri. Crash scene photos from investigators show the mangled steel lying in the road. Seth's car, unrecognizable.
The top of the car was ripped right on the welds, like a can opener. So
From the guardrail?
From the guardrail went straight through, all the way out his car.
Before your son's crash, had you ever heard of any issues of people dying after hitting guardrails?
No.
But some experts,
This one happens to be a case in Illinois,
like attorney Kent Emison,
where a man was killed.
who has handled more than a dozen guardrail injury and death cases, says it's more common than people realize.
This is the faceplate, the end terminal here, and where it elbowed and went through the car and killed a man.
Emison says these cases span across the country where guardrails have speared vehicles, causing serious injuries like leg amputations, or worse, killing people.
Several people were killed in Missouri, near Columbia, Missouri, when the guardrail went right through a GM Tahoe.
And in many of those cases, he says the guardrails were installed improperly.
They need to understand the amount of technical finesse that goes into a guardrail design.
Brian Kuhn is a crash reconstructionist who's inspected hundreds of guardrail crashes for attorneys and has a doctorate in engineering.
The problem with installation of guardrail is it looks like nuts and bolts and you just assemble it, but it actually does require training.
But the federal government does not require training and doesn't have standards for who can install or replace guardrails, saying that decision is up to the states.
Is it safe to say that there are tens of thousands of guardrails on the roads right now that are misinstalled?
At some level, yes.
Could the federal government do something to make guardrails safer?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They could require more inspections. They could require more testing.
More inspections is exactly what a transportation research group urged the Federal Highway Administration to do, saying every guardrail should get a comprehensive in-service performance evaluation. That was back in 2014, and Emison says that still hasn't happened.
How well known do you think this issue is among most Americans?
Almost no one is aware of it.
But the DOTs, they know.
They know.
The manufacturers know.
They know.
The FHWA knows.
They know. Absolutely.
And now, Joey Beck knows just how catastrophic this device meant for safety can be.
I always thought guardrails are there to protect you from your car rolling over here or going in the river.
Now what do you think about them when you see guardrails?
It's death.
Kristen Crowley for Arizona's Family Investigates.
The Federal Highway Administration, responsible for making sure our roads are safe, said no to a sit-down interview, only saying each state is responsible for its own roads. ADOT tells us they use trained crew members and field inspectors for any guardrail installation or repair.